The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to wait another minute or two for some more people to connect. Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started now. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Aaron Kibbutz. I'm a technical product manager with Newforma. I've been with Newforma for just about 10 years. Before that, I spent another 10 years in the architecture industry. So today we're going to take a quick look at who's Newforma, what Newforma products are good for. We're going to take a pretty good demonstration of our productivity tools built into our products. So Newforma really pioneered the project information management software category. And we have 6 offices across the world with our headquarters located in Manchester, New Hampshire, although I'm sitting in overcast Kansas City today. And we've got over 1,500 customers in the industry. The number that we're really most proud of is 96% of our customers renew their subscriptions each year. So by the numbers, a few more numbers here. We manage over 3 million projects for our customers, over 2.5 million users. As you can see, we deal with a lot of different architectural and engineering firms across the world. What makes the architecture, engineering, and construction industry unique is that you've got a group of people, a group of companies that possibly have never worked together before, that need to come together to build something that is probably only going to be built one time. So this team is thrown together, has to solve problems quickly to make sure that the project can stay on budget, on time, and everyone can consider to be a success. But the reality is that disparate systems really hinder your ability to work efficiently on projects. Traditionally, tools for managing specific industry tasks like RFIs and submittals and drawings have been separated from other tools to manage things like email and file sharing and tasks. So what Newforma is designed to do is bring these things together, unite your people with their data, so that we can increase people's ability to find information, collaborate, make informed decisions, and really maximize profitability. And I think it's important to understand that there are quite a few costs and risks here associated with not effectively managing project information. If you just think about the number of RFIs on a project and the amount of time that you spend, not necessarily maybe even just getting the answer to the RFI, but finding the information that you need to answer the RFI. And people, we've found spend a huge amount of time every week, every day, just looking for that information within their projects. So these numbers here, these are big numbers. There's real money that's going into this stuff. And the outcome of this is that most projects today underperform their plans. They miss original deadlines. They end up being over budget. And really, what we've seen using our ability to track what our customers are tracking is that the amount of data and information people are managing has increased over 65 times in the last 10, 14 years. So Project Center is designed to solve these issues. And really what it's here to do is bring together information that's related to your project that you might have in a lot of different places, a lot of different applications, into a common, single pane of glass that you can use to manage your project data. So this series of webinars has been ongoing. We've covered communications and file sharing already. Today we're going to take a deep dive into our productivity suite. And I'm really going to focus on 4 elements of it today. We're going to be looking at action items, timeline, meeting minutes, and document control. So let's go ahead and jump into the application here. So let me get that set up. So you guys should see my my Nuforma screen here. And I'm going to go ahead and just open up a project. I'm going to open up this one Oak Street project. And what we're going to be able to do is just come in here and take a look at our action items for this particular project. And action items are, it's really, you can kind of think of them as a Swiss Army knife, but they're a way of keeping track of problems that need to be solved or decisions that need to be made on a project. So I can come in here and I can quickly, review that list of RFIs. I can also filter the list of RFIs very quickly. If I want to see all the high priority items that are assigned, looks like there's only 3 of those. I can clear that filter. Maybe I want to see all that action items assigned to a particular team member like Bob Welder. If I open up one of these action items, I can see all of the different elements of that action item. So we've got things like subject, type, status, percent complete. We can assign them to team members. But a lot of different tools out there can manage these basic types of things like percent complete. What really makes Nuforma powerful and useful is the project context here. We're working in the One Oak Street project. These are action items that are specifically related to that particular project. If I want to go to a different project, I can very quickly switch into another project and see the action items for that other project here. In this one, I can see here that one of these action items assigned to Bob in this project is late. It's turned red. So I can very quickly manage those action items across my projects. But a lot of my action items will come to me via email. So within Outlook here, Nuforma adds a set of tools to the Outlook toolbar. One of those tools here, this File and Project button, has an option here that says File As. What this option will let me do is I can click on this email that I want to turn into an action item. I can choose the project that it's related to. And then in just a couple clicks, I can tell Nuforma that this email is an action item that I want to track. It's the first one here in the list. So this will take that email, it'll take the subject of it, and it'll make it the subject of that action item. And the body of that email will be put into the description of that action item. So really in a couple clicks, we've taken this email that's stuck in Outlook, and we've been able to elevate it into a system for managing and making sure that it gets resolved. In addition to the subject and the description, we're also going to file this email in Nuforma. We're going to link that email to the action item. So any other emails that come in will automatically be linked to this action item, so that we've got that entire email log, that email history here related to it. But the best part about any action item is being able to assign it to someone else, being able to delegate it. So if I want to assign this to Paul, I can just put his name in, and it will assign it to Paul. So when I click Create, it's going to create that action item and go ahead and file that email into it. So it looks like we've got a question here. So the question is, does the software work on Macs? So the Nuforma desktop application is Windows only. However, we do have a web client that's able to work on Macs as well as iOS and Android applications that can be used for accessing project information as well as action items. So creating that action item from an email is pretty quick and easy. Another way that Nuforma can be used to manage action items is we have integrations with both Revit, Navisworks, and others. But here in Revit, I can select an element like this sink, come up to the Nuforma toolbar. You'll see there's an option here under action items where I can identify an action item related to this element of the model. So that will just flip back into Nuforma, create that action item. You'll see the subject of that is labeled with the element name. But over here on the related items tab, you can see that this action item is automatically related both to the model that we're working in, as well as that plumbing fixture. So Nuforma is giving me the ability to centralize the management of those action items from things like your business applications like Outlook, as well as your design applications like Revit. Another question here, there's a question that integrates with ArchiCAD. We do not have direct integration with ArchiCAD today, so we don't have an add-in available for it. Another way that action items can be accessed and managed is on your mobile device. So I'm going to show my my iPhone here. Bear with me just a second to swap that around. So you should be able to see my iPhone here on the screen. Once you're logged in through our mobile app, which you log in with your Windows account, you'll be able to access your projects that you're working on. And at the top left, there's a little menu. You can tap that and go to action items. And this is going to show you all of your action items across all of your projects. So if you're in a meeting at the client's office and you need to pull up some information related to lead certification, you could pull up that action item and again access any notes and attachments related to it right here from your mobile device. You can also mark these action items complete from your phone or update their % complete. You can very quickly create a new action item from your phone or tablet just by clicking on that little plus button down there at the bottom. You can give it a name, a due date, a project, and put in notes here related to it. So the mobile app is really giving you the ability to access all those action items across all of your projects from wherever you are. Any other action item related questions here? All right, I'm going to show, I'm just going to go in and make a quick action item here. So we're going to call this webinar action item. And I'm going to give this a due date. You can see it automatically defaults to, on this project, looks like 6 days. Our action items have reminders as well. So as that due date approaches, it is going to start reminding me that I need to resolve that item. And I'll put in some notes here. And I'll go ahead and click OK or create, and that will create that action item. So if I clear my Bob filter, I can see it here in the list. A common question we get is, can I get this action item list out of Nuforma? And Nuforma has very powerful reporting options. So over here on the left, if I hit this Create Report button, I can choose a standard log report. We can do custom reports. I'll pick Excel and click OK. And really in 2 clicks there, I'm going to get an Excel report here listing all of my open action items for this particular project. The next element of our productivity package, we're going to take a look at the Nuforma timeline. So the timeline is this activity center here. And what this is going to do is it's going to show me my project events, on a timeline. So here I've got a weekly meeting for the contractor to discuss the project status. So you can see that shows up every Wednesday. And I can also see that my action item due date has now appeared on the calendar. So any action item due dates or RFI and submittal due dates, you'll be able to see here on the project timeline. So what this is doing is it's giving you a linear view of the activities and events that are taking place within your particular project. So an additional element of the productivity package is our ability to handle meeting minutes. So if you look here today, we're supposed to be having this contractor status meeting. If I select that meeting here on the timeline, you'll see there's a button on the task palette to create a meeting occurrence. So if I want to go ahead and start tracking the meeting minutes for this meeting, I can just click that task and it'll go ahead and generate the meeting minutes for that meeting. I'm not going to run through the entire meeting minute process, but I want to show a couple highlights here. In the discussion items area, we can identify new action items that have come out of this meeting right here from the notes area, or we can link existing things within Newforma to our meeting. So if we discussed this lead water efficiency action item at the meeting, I can go ahead and add that to the meeting minutes. And if I want, maybe I can add other things to the meeting, like perhaps we discuss some RFIs. I can pull up the Newforma RFI list and select this RFI here related to the stadium seating. So the meeting minute module is going to allow you to bring together those different elements, RFIs, action items that are taking place day to day into one common report here that's going to allow you to track those meeting notes. So within meeting minutes, you can also use this meeting notes area. You have all the same, formatting controls that you'd have in Word and things like that to create free-form meeting minutes. When you click OK, it'll go ahead and record those minutes. There are tools in Newforma for distributing those minutes amongst the team. You can see here in the timeline, you can very quickly go in and set up, initiate the creation of those minutes. One of my favorite features, though, about the timeline is the ability to sync this information with Outlook. So if you want to see these contractor meetings in your own Outlook, if you go over here to Timeline Utilities, there's an option here that says Add to Outlook and Subscribe to Updates. If you select that, what will happen is in Outlook, if you go to your calendar, you will see your project events next to your own personal calendar. So you can actually see I have my calendar, the Alpengrove project, and the One Oak Street project events here all in one view. If you want, you can overlay them all on top of each other to make sure that your meetings don't conflict. So the last element we're going to look at in the productivity package today is the Document Control Activity Center. This is one of the more complex modules of Newforma. However, it can be one of the most beneficial for you. So if I go ahead and open up Document Control, what this is going to do is it's going to show me my drawing list. So I've got all of my drawings here. I can see things like the drawing name, the current revision, the state of that revision, the date, when that drawing was last issued, things like scale and size, keywords, discipline, an owner. We track a lot of information related to each one of these drawings. What Document Control's here to do, though, is keep track of the drawings and the revisions, as well as track when those drawings are issued and who those drawings are issued to. So if I click on the little plus next to A201, I can see that revision P01 from March 13th was issued. And if I select that issuance down here in the issue history, I can see that that was actually issued to Bob Welder. It's like there was another issue, or not the revision, sorry, the same day that's never been issued and is still here in the draft state. You can get a very nice report showing this information. If you go over here to Create Report, the Document Register Report will show you all of the drawings, all the revisions for those drawings, and when each one of those revisions was issued. So here I can see that revision 1 was issued on 3/14/18. And if I scroll to the very bottom, it'll tell me, how it was issued and who it was issued to. Adding these revisions and drawings is quite easy, really. We can import a spreadsheet of your drawing list, and you can match. We can match PDF files by their file name to those drawings. But we have an automatic way to do it if your drawings are coming out of Autodesk Revit. As part of our Revit add-in here under Document Control, we can automatically publish sheets out of Revit and track those sheets as a new revision within Document Control. So that process is nearly completely automatic. In Nuforma, when you're ready to issue the latest revision of those drawings, you can just select them here in the Document Control Activity Center. And over here on the left, there's an action here that says Issue Selected Record Documents. When you select this, you would choose who you want to issue those to. So I'm going to issue these to Bob Welder again. We can give it a subject. We'll call this bid set. And under the purpose, we'll say it's for bid. You can put some remarks in here. And I'll go ahead and click Create and Transfer. And it's going to go ahead and issue those drawings directly from Document Control. You'll see the status, the state of those drawings will change from draft to issued. Pretty much anything within here is customizable, so that draft or issued state, you guys can modify the different terminology that's used throughout. Another thing that's particularly useful, to go back to the action item use case here, is if you're creating an action item or working with an existing action item, like this one I made earlier, down here on there's this related items tab, and I can relate this action item to a particular record document. So if it's related to that A201 floor plan, I can select that here, and that drawing will be linked to the action item. And if I go back to Document Control and click on A201, down in the related items over here, I'm going to see the related action item here also. So the ability to relate these things together can be extremely powerful, especially months or years from now when you're trying to reconstruct how something came about on an older project. These documents in Document Control are made available through Nuforma's web applications as well. So your external team members like contractors and engineers, if they're out in the field, they're able to access the latest revisions of these drawings. Nuforma also has mobile apps like our Plans app that gives you access to all of the current revisions of those drawings from an iPad wherever you are, in addition to providing offline access to those drawings. So the combination of Nuforma's other capabilities like email management, file transfers, marries up very nicely with our productivity tools around action items, document control, and timeline. And that's a pretty quick look at productivity. If there are any other questions, I am happy to wait here and answer them. So just wait a minute to see if any other questions come in. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip back to my PowerPoint here and kind of wrap up the webinar. So if you have additional questions or would like additional information, please feel free to reach out either through email, our phone or website, and we be happy to answer any other questions that you might have about Nuforma and Nuforma Project Center. So thanks everyone for your time today. Have a good afternoon.